So a little while ago, Democrats, this was a while back by the way, Democrats basically said that having a society where there was rich people and poor people was a bad thing, right? It was just evil to have rich people, a society where we have rich people and poor people, and that everyone should be equal in cash and money. And I believe everyone should be equal under the law. I do not believe in equality when it comes to income. And I'm about to explain why that is and why rich people are actually a great benefit to society as a whole. So, okay. This is basically how it works. I'm going to try to keep it real simple. If you like getting money, getting cash, and paying for things, and being able to afford stuff, then having a class of rich people who are richer than you is a good thing, because those rich people are going to create jobs. Those jobs are basically going to be occupied by you. That's right, you. And those rich people are now paying you money in order so you could basically pay for a house, a car, all this kind of stuff. And inequality in income isn't a bad thing, right? Not being equal in income isn't a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing, because that's actually how everything works. Because it's based on value, right? If everyone has it, that thing's not valuable. But if not many people have it, it becomes valuable. And essentially, that's the same thing with money. If everyone suddenly has money, money becomes worthless. I mean, what good is money at that point? It wouldn't be anything, right? You would need like $1,000 in order just to buy a gallon of milk. What, you don't believe me on this? Germany, 1920s, right after the First World War, right? They had no money to pay all these countries their income, so they just decided to print money. It tanked their economy, and their money became worthless. This is why when Alexander Ocasio-Cortez says on her Green New Deal, we'll just print money, no, because you can't afford it, because your money will become worthless at that point. This is why everyone's pretty much laughing and everyone's saying that the Green New Deal is basically trash. It is. I mean, let's face it. I mean, the Green New Deal is just a garbage deal. And this is the perfect thought system of socialism, where everyone has equal, equal income, equal right, everything's equal. The problem with that is not everything is equal, because the reason why we have rich people in a capitalist society is because, like I said, those rich people are going to give you jobs. Those jobs is going to help you pay for things. And when you have a job that can pay for your new PlayStation 4, your new car, whatever it is that you want to buy, it's good, right? It's good. You like those things, don't you? Right? You like those ideas of going off buying something good for yourself, or buying something for yourself. Well, in a social society, that can't happen, because, like I said, those rich people give you jobs. But in socialism, what happens is the government comes in and takes those factories away from the rich people. The people that's paying you basically have their life's work whipped out of their hands and given to the government. And now they're being paid the same as you are. And, that's not right. It really isn't. It's pretty much theft of government theft. And they do it by force. They do it by gunpoint in many cases. And when this happens, you create a basically society where everything's controlled by one entity. Guess what's paying that entity? Government doesn't make any money. So how is government going to pay for everything? You got to think about this. Really, how is government going to pay for your birth control? How is government going to pay for anything that you want? It's not. Because it doesn't make money. It does have money, but it doesn't create money. How do you think it makes that money? It makes it from your taxes. Meaning everything that the government does, basically, like the senators getting paid money, funding wars, all this kind of stuff is used by our tax dollars, our money that we're paying them. So if you're living in a socialist society and suddenly the government decides to take everything over, how are they going to pay you? You got to think of that through. You're basically paying yourself. You're basically giving all your money away just so the government can come back and give you that money back. The problem with this society is it doesn't actually work, because there's too many people and not enough money to go around. which then creates another problem. How do you basically have people not starving? Well, you don't. So you have to pick and choose which people get to die, which people get to live, essentially. Which side gets food, essentially. And when you have that, it's always going to be the people that are more loyal to the party, more loyal to government and all that kind of stuff. Right? It's going to be the people who are diehard government people, because they understand the system. They know that, you know, no one's going to get a 10th piece of a chicken. They want the whole chicken. And in order to get the whole chicken, you got to be loyal to who's ever in charge. You got to worship the ground he walks on. You know, the guy basically has to be God. Whoever the socialist leader is basically has to be your new God that you have to worship. And this is true in every single socialist government that ever been created. It was true in the Soviet Union. It's true in North Korea. It's true basically everywhere. I mean, there was a documentary on inside North Korea where basically these North Koreans were literally worshiping their leader as a god. They were really trying to sing worship songs to him, to honor him. And this is true in socialist government, because if you don't do these things, if you don't see your socialist leader as a god, then you're anti-government. And if you're anti-government, you must be taken care of. You must have be gotten rid of. And this is why there was death camps in socialist country, why purges happen, and why all this kind of stuff happened, because people refuse to give up their religion. They refuse to give up their cash hard-earned money. They refuse to be stolen. They refuse to have their property stolen. But that's what happens in a socialist society. Government comes in and takes everything over. They do. They just do. And if you don't agree with that, they're going to put a gun to your head and go, how about now? Basically, this is what happens in socialist governments. There is no escape from it. And this is why it's important to understand where you're getting your money from. Because you want to understand, how is your employer paying you? Right? How is he paying you? The way my job works, I work at a motel. And the way it works is people come to the motel and pay to stay at the motel. Well, they pay the owner. The owner gets to keep a good portion of the money, but he still has to pay me, so some of the jobs around the motel gets done. Same thing with all the other co-workers I work with. They are, you know, they do different jobs, and those jobs are basically there because they have customers that need those jobs to be done. That's how it works. That's how rich people pay you, right? And look, you're never going to get paid by someone who's poorer than you. I mean, think about it. Are you really going to get paid minimum wage by someone who's poorer than you? No, you're not. That's what happens in a socialist government. You're basically asking for someone who's poorer than you to actually pay for your things. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I mean, think about that very, 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 very hard, because it's not going to work. Government is always going to be poorer than you. Right? You think you're poor, but truth is, government's actually poor, because government doesn't make any money except on our taxes. This is how we pay for everything, is through taxes. So yes, taxes are important, but they're also not a bad thing to lower those taxes, because then this will allow corporations to come in. When corporations are able to come in, they create business. Now, it's like the same thing with let's say you got a McDonald's and a Burger King, right? They're obviously going to compete against each other. They're about the same thing, and, you know, they sell hamburgers, french fries, and a drink. So they have to compete with each other. And they do this by saying, you know, we have this burger that's bigger, or we have this burger that costs less. And people buy into that. They go and they buy the hamburger that they want. And it creates competition, and it creates a very low income for all. That's why McDonald's is able to sell McChickens for $1, because they're trying to compete against people like Burger King. And that's why Burger King trying to sell the 10 nuggets for $1. Right? Everything becomes lower when you have competition. But without that competition, when everything is controlled by the government, everything is going to be higher, because you're basically paying one entity. Right? So it doesn't matter where you go. It's the exact same thing, because you're basically paying the same source, and there is no difference in that source. And when that happens, how is that source going to pay you? Everything's now higher, right? That McChicken that you love for $1 might be worth $50 now, and you're going to try to tell me that that's a good thing? That you can live in a society where that actually works? No, I don't think so. And like I said, you really want to pay $50 for a dollar chicken sandwich, and that's basically what happened with Venezuela. I mean, look at Venezuela. Look how bad Venezuela is right now, and you can understand it happened this way because the government thought that they could come in and take everything over, and when they realized that they couldn't, it got bad, right? Because you don't have enough money to afford half of your people. The only way a society can be fully functional is through equality, inequality income, right? Not having the same income, having people that are richer than you, having people that are poorer than you. Both are extremely important to society. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone has to be poor, like in Africa or something. No. Actually, most Americans who are poor are actually much richer than many people around this world. Many people around this world don't even have running water. Think about that. How many almost every single American has running water, electricity, food, anything like that. They have good refrigerators, they have game systems. So you know what, not being equal in income is not the same as not being equal under the law. It's actually more beneficial to not be equal in income. And this doesn't have anything to do with race basing or anything like that. Like rich people are going to be rich. It doesn't matter what color their skin is. I don't think racial. I basically don't think racism has a place in a capitalist system, which is why we ended up getting rid of Jim Crow, while we fought a war over slavery and all that kind of stuff, because our system just couldn't allow something like that to happen. Under socialism, that is everything that happens. Again, you need to figure out which group of people you want to, under a socialist government, you need to figure out which group of people you want to support, because you can't pay for everybody. Under a capitalist system, under a free market, you can pay for everybody. Everybody gets their sale, and that's the danger of what the Democrats are proposing. Democrats want complete socialism, and if they win in 2020, they might get it. Do you understand that? They might actually create this horrible, awful system. And it's not going to take much for them to do it. It's not going to take them much to rewrite the Constitution. And if the Democrats control the House in 2020 and they're able to get the House, the Senate, and all that kind of stuff, just like Republicans did in 2016, we're in some trouble, guys. We are going to be, we're down to the road of hell. And I've been saying this for a long time, but eventually the Democrats are going to support the Republicans. It might not, I don't think it's going to happen anytime like 2020 or 2024. I think it's most likely going to happen sometime after 2026. And the reason is because I believe it was 2026 where our welfare system is supposed to basically collapse. I mean, it's basically a house of cards. We have paid so many people on welfare, on food stamps, on all that kind of stuff that we can't afford it no more. It's just going to collapse on itself, and people are going to have to figure out how to do without these sources come 2026. And that's not really going to be a very, very, very good thing for many people when they start to realize what is actually happening in the society. Right? When you start to realize that what the Democrats are really planning and what they're trying to do in this whole socialist takeover of many of the states in the United States, you will start to be afraid. You should be afraid, because they're proposing very, very evil things. Now, this is not to say that the people who support socialism are evil. I don't think they're evil. I think the idea is evil. True. I think there's a lot of evil ideas, but I don't think the people who are proposing these ideas are evil themselves. I believe that they're good people trying to do what they think is right. However, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. This means that people who see themselves as morally right, the people who see themselves as the good guys, are going to propose really bad ideas in the name of good, and then when it all doesn't work, they're just going to kill a bunch of people in the name of good. So that's how it usually works. And well, it's like what I said. evil doesn't happen overnight. Like, you just don't wake up one morning and you're evil. It's one step at a time. And we're really heading into the steps where socialism is probably going to be a real thing here in the United States. And if we don't fight against that, we're all doomed. That's just the bottom line. Every single body in this United States is going to be doomed. We're going to be what Venezuela was. We're going to have people that are starving, eating cats and dogs, horses, and probably even people. We're going to have crime up the roof. We're going to have all these things happen. And if you aren't down with that, if you're not down with the socialism, they're just going to kill you. They're just going to come in and they're just going to purge you. They're just going to kill you and your entire family. That's how it works. And that's a very scary thought. It's just something to remember why a fully capitalistic system is the best way to go. Thank you.